Let's do a probability analysis based on the results at the 7th round of the Asian Final Qualifiers.
Please.
First, let's look at the results of the previous round.
The home teams won fairly convincingly, didn't they?
As a result, the standings are as follows.
Japan is in a commanding lead.
Japan has secured their place in the World Cup. This is because they've established a 10-point lead over Saudi Arabia in third place with 3 matches remaining.
Congratulations, they seem to be the first in the world.
Australia has a 4-point lead over the teams ranked 4th and below, so they're in a strong position.
Saudi Arabia has the potential to jump to second place in one match, but they could also be overtaken by other teams.
The race remains tight, but it feels a bit more organized now. Next, let's look at each team's record. It's like this.
Surprisingly, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and China have the same win rate. The difference lies in their draws.
This highlights the importance of not losing, just as much as winning. Next, let's look at goal difference.
Japan is in a different category altogether.
The other 5 teams are very close, but looking at the goals conceded, we can see why the bottom 3 teams are where they are.
Despite scoring more goals than Saudi Arabia, their goals conceded are more than double.
Reducing goals conceded will be key for teams aiming for a playoff spot. Next, the ELO rating scores. International matches can take time to reflect in the rankings. Again, the most recent results are not included this time.
Let's consider this a provisional value.
Based on recent results, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia may have swapped places, but it's still very close.
Otherwise, they're nicely arranged in a step-like pattern.
When we quantify the strength of each team, it looks like this. Now, let's look at the probability of winning, using this rating. Here it is.
Well, that's expected.
Yes, that's right.
Technically, Australia still has a chance of winning, right?
If Japan loses all remaining matches and Australia wins all remaining matches, it would come down to goal difference.
Looking at the first decimal place, such a scenario is practically impossible.
That's correct.
Let's move on.
Next, the probability of finishing in second place or higher. This is enough to qualify directly for the World Cup.
The difference between Australia and Saudi Arabia is significant. At this point, the teams ranked 4th and below have virtually no chance.
China's 4% chance is surprisingly a probability that can occur in daily life. While we can't say it's absolutely impossible, Australia's advantage is undeniable.
This is the result considering the high rating and current points advantage.
Both Australia and Saudi Arabia have a match against Japan remaining, but Australia will play at home, while Saudi Arabia must play in Japan. That's a huge difference. Next, the probability of finishing 4th or higher. This is the line that keeps the playoff hopes alive.
Australia has almost certainly secured this line. Saudi Arabia and Bahrain also seem to be in a favourable position.
However, there's over a 20% chance of Saudi Arabia missing out on 4th place. This is a higher probability than rolling a 1 on a die. They can't afford to be complacent.
Considering this, China and Indonesia still have a decent chance.
An upset wouldn't be surprising. Next, the probability of the points needed for second place. It's highly likely to be between 13 and 17 points.
If it's 15, Australia needs at least 1 win and 2 draws, Saudi Arabia needs at least 2 wins, and the bottom 3 teams need to win all their remaining games.
Australia drew against Japan in the last match, and even if they lose to Japan next time, they still have a good chance of winning the remaining 2 matches. On the other hand, the conditions for the bottom 3 teams are severe, and this is why there's a large difference in the probability of finishing second or higher. Next, the probability of the points needed for 4th place. Realistically, 10 to 12 points seems reasonable.
If it's 10, Saudi Arabia needs 1 more draw in the remaining 3 matches, and the bottom 3 teams need 1 win and 1 draw.
This won't be easy for the bottom 3 teams. Losing in a direct clash would be a significant setback, so the pressure on the players will be immense. Next, the probability of each team's final points.
Apart from Japan, Australia is clearly pulling ahead.
Looking at the distribution, Australia has a high frequency on the right side of the graph. In other words, there's a reasonable chance of winning all or 2 of their remaining matches. Bahrain shows a similar pattern, but this isn't seen in other teams. This shows Australia's advantage, both in their current points difference and future win rate.
Conversely, Saudi Arabia's graph slopes downwards as it moves to the right. It seems that achieving a clean sweep or 2 wins will be a tough ask for Saudi Arabia.
Let's check the upcoming opponents and win rates.
Australia has a 32% win rate against Japan, but Saudi Arabia only has a 4% chance?
This is because Australia will play at home and Saudi Arabia will play away, resulting in vastly different numbers.
Japan's remaining matches are essentially dead rubbers, but will they maintain their usual strength?
There's no country in Asia that could beat Japan in a dead rubber, and I don't think Japan will let up. The win or loss will affect their FIFA ranking and World Cup seeding. Furthermore, manager Moriyasu excels at fostering competition within the team, so expect the players vying for a spot to give it their all.
There's a direct clash between Australia and Saudi Arabia.
This could be a crucial match determining second place.
The bottom 3 teams also have direct clashes with each other.
The chance to decide their fate themselves is positive for every team. Viewers can look forward to an exciting league that will keep them on the edge of their seats until the very end. Finally, the win rates for the next round.
Japan remains consistent, but surprisingly, Saudi Arabia also has a 16% chance of gaining points.
Japan needs to be wary of Saudi Arabia. They're not an easy opponent. The advantage shown in the probabilities is only for when they play at their best. Underestimating them will change those probabilities.
Australia and Bahrain are also in a strong position.
However, both countries have around a 50% chance of winning. Conversely, they also have a 50% chance of losing.
This means there's still a significant chance for Indonesia and China.
That's right. When you play your heart out, anything can happen.
I'm looking forward to the next match.
Alright, that's all for today. I'll recalculate and post the probabilities again after the next round. Please subscribe, like, comment, and thank you.
Please.